Hi, everybody. I'm immigration lawyer John Khosravi, joining you live from Los Angeles as we do every Wednesday, 6 p.m. Pacific time, here to talk about U.S. immigration, fill you in on all the wild updates we're going through in the U.S. immigration on what's going on. We're live on YouTube, we're live on Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn, all these different places, different opportunities for you to come and ask questions and get the chance to win a free consultation. We're giving away 3 video consultations, 15 minutes for those watching the live show. And what you got to do is just like and subscribe wherever you're watching this, and in the comments write consultation, and that way it'll notify my assistant, wonderful Kayla, to pick somebody in 10 minutes and 20 minutes and 30 minutes, 3 chances to win. That's all you do is like, subscribe, and write consultation, and we'll do that. And we're going to jump in and answer questions, general education, not case specific kind of information. And if you're interested in learning about marriage immigration, you have a marriage immigration case, you don't know where to start, what's going on, you have a fiance, you're just plugging your mind, how are you going to bring this person to the United States? How are you going to live here lawfully? All that kind of stuff. I have a guide. It's a great one out there, the Ultimate Marriage Green Card Guide, at marriageimmigrationlaw.com. So go to marriageimmigrationlaw.com, download that, read it, and it'll give you an understanding of what's going on before you even make the steps of even talking with a lawyer. You already know, so you can ask really good questions and test their knowledge to see what's going on. And just download the ebook, even if you're not doing a marriage immigration case, to see what kind of information I have there. It'll give you an idea of what kind of firm I am, what kind of person I am, to give all that information out there for free. Marriageimmigrationlaw.com. It has sample translation certificates, sample declarations, practice questions, all the forms, all the different processes. There's a guide there. It's amazing. I should charge for it, but I don't, because I want to help you out. Just go to marriageimmigrationlaw.com to check that out. And we already have a lot of people. Gil Phim says hello. User 37 hello. Adesala hello. Good to see you all. Thank you for joining. With that, let's get it started. All right. So the world of immigration right now. There's big stuff. There's a typical big stuff when it's early March, as we are in right now, which is H-1B cap season. This is when you have an employer in the United States that wants to hire a foreign employee that has specialized knowledge. Knowledge is specialized. They need to usually have a degree for that, and they apply for them. So a lot of immigration attorneys, the business immigration attorneys, employment-based, are busy with filing that right now. Has a handful with it right now as well. On the other end, the big thing is the situation in Ukraine. We just had the situation in Afghanistan, which is still existing. Unfortunately, they didn't do any hookups to the poor Afghan people. They did, to a certain extent, those who were airlifted and came here, but they're still trying to figure out what to do with them. So I can't, completely knock the system. But right now, Ukraine is all in the news, and we see this in the calls we get the refugees. And at the JQK law firm, we have the Russian-speaking attorney, Anya Sergeyeva. We're doing a lot of video content. She wrote a detailed description of all the updates that are happening for people who are looking for information on Ukrainian immigration. It's in Russian language. She wrote it and updates it. So, it doesn't have an easy thing, but let me see how I can put it on. If you're interested in that, just email me. I'll send you a link to that active Google document page so you can access it. But we're getting all these calls of, Anya's doing 12, 15 consultations a day with people. I mean, she's bearing the brunt of it, also doing H-1B. So God bless her. She's working hard right now, but trying to do the best we can, because the options are limited in the U.S. There's some cool stuff. You could maybe do an expedited case, in which we've been able to do expediting I-130. So that's a approved parent of a U.S. citizen. And then try to push the embassies to do the interview faster. But TPS has been announced, temporary protected status. That gives people that are from Ukraine, whether they're here, even if they've had removal proceedings, they're in the United States, to apply for temporary protective status, which means they stay here for an extended period of time, get a work permit, all that kind of stuff. So there are some options, but at the same time, you got to look for other options. One thing, some people go as Canada, for example, but one thing is we're working with attorneys, and an attorney in particular in Turkey, to provide guidance on global migration into Turkey, because that country has some good programs for getting residency. Now, there are many of them. One of the ones that we're focused on initially is a program where if you buy a house there, you could get residency there, maybe eventually citizenship. And the cool thing is your minor children could come with you, and even your parent could potentially come and get a short-term permanent residency in Turkey, especially, excuse me, it's for every country really, but if you're from Russia, Belarus, Poland, Ukraine, all these areas are feeling the pressure, Malta, Romania, all these places that are closer and closer to Eastern Europe, in the midst of it. Ideally, war wouldn't happen. My family had to escape war in the 80s. I know how that is. I mean, I don't know physically, but I've seen the scars of it in my older sister, knowing how the pressures of being a child and my parents running away, my wife and her family. I definitely have seen the scars of this situation. God, thank the Lord, I haven't had to go through it, but I'm sure in our lifetime we're gonna have to see this stuff even in America. But as it is right now, even for myself, you got to think about alternative options and where you can go. And so they have options in Turkey where you could, buy an apartment and you get your whole family there. That may be the way to go. So if you're interested in information on that, we're going to be putting out a lot of content on that, blogs and articles to get to know the Turkish immigration system, because JQK law firm is going global. We're going to be a global migration firm, and we already are. We're going to be working with lawyers from across the world and expand the firm to help you get an understanding of what's going on internationally, to be able to help support your family, because the reality is this is an unreliable world, and you sometimes want to stay where you are and fight. But the reality is, when you look at history, and I'm a student of history, I come from a country, my family's from Iran, where we have thousands of year history, and you see there's war, they come and go, invaders come and go. This is just a natural order of history. Ideally it wasn't, but that's how human history always was and how it's always going to be. And so knowing that reality, the importance of immigration is so important, because sometimes you can't stand and fight. Sometimes you just got to pick up and leave and do the best you can, and think about it way beforehand, prepare for it. So what do you need? Have your passports in order. After this thing in Ukraine, I'm checking out I have a 2-year-old. We haven't got his U.S. passport yet. I'm like, okay, let's go get his U.S. passport. If we need, we have that. We get up and running. It's on my to-do list. Renew my wife's passport. It's going to be expiring next year. Let's just get an extra couple of years on it to be safe. So do this kind of stuff for yourself. If you're in a country that's at risk, if you're from Ukraine, had that risk for years of this happening, unfortunately. And there's all sorts of places in the world. If you're in Hong Kong, for example, you might have a situation where your health matters. Taiwan, for example, there's these things that happen. South Korea, starting from East Asia all the way west, this stuff's always possible. Why not have a backup route to be able to get out of it, get your family out of it? It's not gonna work for everybody. It's unfortunate, but if you look at the track record of history, that's just sometimes what you got to do. We have a whole country here, the United States, that was based on people escaping different situations they're in. That whole country up till today is all that. So, just be prepared, think of options, get your family to a safe place and recoup. And once you're in a safe place, you can pull out people and help them out too. That's just the only way I've seen things happen. So that's that. Now we got some questions popping up. Let's jump into it. So first question, Thermo Mukhal asks, I applied for F1 reinstatement. It's been a year, still haven't got a decision. What should I do? So let's back it up. F1 student visa holders are people here going to school in the United States. Now, when you're F1 student visa holder, sometimes something happens where you violate it. You don't get good enough grades. You lose out of status. You don't go to school enough. There's some situation happens that you fall out of status. Sometimes, with the help of the school that you're going to, you can work on doing a thing called reinstatement for them to accept you to come back in. The problem with all this is that the immigration system is very slow, and sometimes it seems like they forget about you sometimes. So in this case, Thermo Mukhal says he filed for reinstatement. It's been a year, nothing has happened. What do you do? Well, that's the problem, because there's not much you can do. You could try contacting USCIS to see what these delays are. I would need to review your case first and see what's going on, and maybe you filed something wrong, maybe you didn't send it to the right place and they never even got it, for all we know. But talk with your school, maybe they go in the system to see it, call USCIS to see what's going on. Just figure out what's going on. Unfortunately, you could do a lawsuit maybe if it's taking too long, but you just got to see what's happening. And unfortunately, if you fell out of status, there was a determination, that a decision that says you're out of status, and you got that, you've been accumulating unlawful presence days since that date. And if it's been a year, you've already accumulated over a year of unlawful presence. So if reinstatement does not happen and then you leave the United States, you're being subject to a 10-year ban on reentry. There's a thing called the 10-year bar, which is if you're here a full year out of status, accumulating unlawful presence days. And for F1 student visas, that happens once you get some sort of a denial notice or falling out of status. If that happened, you probably are subject to that if you exit the United States. So you really want that reinstatement to work. Hopefully it was a strong case. Hopefully it was a proper case to help save you. It's bad news. But definitely this kind of stuff, you want to have a lawyer handy to help watch out over it. And sometimes situations just not good. You don't even go for reinstatement, just leave and maybe try to get a new student visa. It really depends on what the situation is and why you dropped out. But thank you for the question. I'm sorry about that delay. And unfortunately, there's not much you can do to chase it around a little bit, but talk with the lawyer in private to see what's going on. All right, so next question popping up is from Vikas. Says, hey, John, any updates on F2A? How long is taking? Biometrics was done last month. When can I expect an interview? So there's no consistency in this. So if you're doing biometrics, that means you file for a green card. F2A is a spouse or minor child of a green card holder. So let me give you two examples. I'm in Los Angeles, but I handle cases from all over the world, in particular in California. I have a case in San Diego. We filed F2A, spouse of a green card holder, was done in 6 months. They got their green card last month. I have another one filed a year ago in San Francisco, still pending. They did the biometrics, everything, nothing has happened. The reality is, when you're in the United States and you're doing an adjustment of status case that especially requires an in-person interview like your case, it's going to depend on the field office, the local USCIS office that you're going to, and how busy they are. Like in Los Angeles, we're getting cases done in downtown LA and San Fernando in 2 or 3 months. It's wild how fast the Los Angeles office is going. It's just out of control. But on the other end, San Francisco is taking a year or more in most of my cases. San Jose, a little bit faster. San Diego, faster, but not as fast as LA. What other field offices are dealing with them? New York's a little slower. They're more towards a year. Las Vegas, more towards a year. Just there's different places have different times. Missouri, we got a case done in like 3 or 4 months there. So it's all over the place how this timing works out. It really depends on your local office. Even within that, it just depends on your case, which officer gets it, whether they lose stuff, whether they have issues. So when it comes to when can you expect the interview, there are no expectations at all. And even the times they quote you online, completely unreliable. You might have 5 friends, all of them file the same day as you. They're twins of you. 4 of them or 5 of them, all of them get their case done in 3 months. And your case takes a year and a half. There's nothing you can do about it. That's just the nature of our immigration system in the United States and just what we're dealing with. So sorry about that, but that's the real answer. That's what you're going to get. Now, I do want to announce our winner of our raffle, Thermo Kla, the gentleman with the reinstatement issue, or gal. I'm not sure if it's a girl or gal, but I'm guessing it's a guy. Just take a screenshot of where you're watching this so I know it's you, and email me at info@jqqlaw.com with that image so I know it's you and it's not someone else jumping on there. And we'll talk for 15 minutes, see what's going on in your case. I don't know if I can help you in that particular situation, but it's good to talk with a lawyer. Honestly, good to talk. A couple lawyers get different opinions, but just take a screenshot. For those just tuning in, try to figure out what I'm talking about. For those watching this live show, we give away free video consultations, and what you have to do is like and subscribe. And then once you subscribe, write consultation in the comments. My wonderful assistant, Kayla, will name a person in 10 minutes, another person in 20 minutes, and you get a free video consultation. We'll chat in private about your case so we can really get into a little more deeper and talk about it. So definitely check that out, and we'll jump into it. So, and as always, I'll remind you, if you're interested in learning about marriage, immigration, fiance case, you want to bring your spouse, boyfriend, girlfriend, fiance, whoever it is, download the Ultimate Marriage Green Card Guide and get to know everything that you need to do for the most part. There's always more, but it's not everything. I shouldn't say that. But go to marriageimmigrationlaw.com, marriageimmigrationlaw.com, download the Ultimate Marriage Green Card Guide and be blown away by the amount of information and guidance is in there. And then go talk to the lawyer once you've read through it. It'll take some time, but each chapter pretty much has a video, a 10 or 15, 20-minute video explaining in more detail what it is. So if you just watch all that, I have people constantly come on the live show. They say, we did our case based on what you said there. This is not individual legal guidance. You should really talk to the lawyer, but it really guides you and gives you a full idea of what's going on with the system. Yeah, and I've had dozens and dozens of people come on this live show and say, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Couldn't afford a lawyer, didn't want to hire a lawyer, but this did the job for us. And, that's the end of the day what we're here for. It's a community position. Immigration lawyer is a lawyer for the community. And our role is to help people in the community. You always have to remember that. That's really the priority of it. We're here to serve. And obviously, we make money. That's a business. I don't shy away from that. But part of that business is just interlaced with it is the community aspect. So anything we do with these live videos, all these information videos, if you watch them, you'll see we're just putting out what you need to do in these guides and letting you know. But we always have to say it's not individual guidance because each case is different. So please consult an attorney in private. I always have to tell you that I don't want you to take big risks with your case. Talk with somebody, but at least you have an idea. So before you go and talk with somebody, you'll be like, okay, I know what's going on. So if the lawyer's trying to fool me or the lawyer doesn't know what they're talking about, we can catch that. Because some lawyers don't know what they're talking about. It's the reality of it. I see that stuff all day too. It's very hard to choose. But having said all that, let's take the next question. 29 Super C, one of our regulars says, hello, good night, Attorney John Khosravi. Just saying hi. Hope you're doing well. Thank you so much, 29 Super C. Have you entered the U.S. yet, or have you got your green card yet? Keep me posted. 29 Super C is one of our regulars who watches the show. Miss asks, the processing time case for National Benefit Center? No. Go to uscis.gov. You'll get a list of times, and then throw that away because there is no processing times that are reliable. Just have to wait. Hakeem asks, what's the marriage-based green card processing time these days? If you've been listening, there are no average processing times. You just have to wait. One of Game's wives says, hi, is it possible to get citizenship as an adult if a parent got one? No, if you're an adult, you just at that point you can't get citizenship if your parent got that while you're an adult. Now, there are nuances of your grandparent might be a citizen, you might be able to do it. For the most part, if you're 30 years old and your mom just got citizenship, no, you're not going to get citizenship through your mom. But your mom could apply for you potentially. It'll take a lot of years. You get a green card, and then after having your green card for a couple of years, you can apply for citizenship. All that stuff's possible. But you might be in some sort of special category where you could have got one. Very unlikely if you're an adult and your parent just gets one. But you got to consult a lawyer probably about that, but unlikely. But thanks for the question, though. Salombro says, what is the process of adjusting status within the U.S. for someone that won the diversity visa lottery? So the green card lottery is something we do in a couple of cases like this right now. Actually, it's a program where people put their name in a hat in a raffle for U.S. Green card, and sometimes they win. And when they do, if they're outside the United States, they do consular processing. If they're inside, they do adjustment of status. So the first things first is you have to maintain status if you're here legally. And then when the visa bulletin, the chart that shows who's getting green cards is a line that changes every month as people move forward. When it's your turn on that, you file for adjustment of status. Now, I did a video, I think, on our channel where we break down this more, but you have to pay an NBC fee for it first, a fee to the KCC. Then it's better probably to complete a DS-260 just to do it. And then you have to get a receipt after you pay that, and then within that submission for the payment of the to tell the government that you want to do the diversity visa lottery, you notify them that you're adjusting status. And once you get that all in order, you file for adjustment of status. That's a general overview of diversity visa lottery. You want to do it the second you can because you have to do an interview, and all the case has to be done by September 30th. So you have to get it done within this year if it's your filing year. It depends. I'm not sure where your filing year is, but it's doable from I-485. But there's some extra little work that's different from a typical green card case in the United States for diversity visa adjustment status that you have to do with the KCC, the Kentucky. I always say the name, break it down wrong. Kentucky. It's not Service Center. It's Kentucky C. What is that? Kentucky something center. And so you got to do that stuff. Stuff's online, but it's always good to hire an attorney and we go through how we are handling cases like this. We have one we're filing probably in a month or two when the visa bulletin gets current for that country. But yeah, that's the general overview. And hopefully you get your interview in time for adjustment and you get it done. It is nowadays better to adjust this because the consular processing systems have become so unreliable and your case might not get done in time. So if you're here, maintain that lawful status, file it in time. After you file the adjustment of status case, you don't have to maintain status anymore, but you have to maintain it up until the time of the filing. Just give you a heads up. Thanks for your question, Swan. Green Shades asked, my wife's EAD got approved. God bless. Wonderful. It's good news. EAD being a work permit. They've been really slow on approving these, but they're kind of speeding up now, thankfully. But congrats. Love though asks, my mom has a green card. Can she apply for her kids over 21 in Algeria? Yeah, your mom can apply for single kids, not married kids. So if your mom has a green card, it's F2B category, adult children of a green card holder, an LPR, lawful permanent resident. It takes, I don't know, like 9 years or so, 7 or 9 years, I think. But they have to stay single while the case is pending if your mom still has a green card. So a green card holder can file for children. It's called the F2B category, but those children have to be single, unmarried. If they're married, it destroys the case. Or if you start the case, they're single, then they get married, destroys the case. Now, if they start the case, file for a single child, and then the mother here, the petitioner, becomes a citizen, then the child gets married, it won't destroy the case, but it'll create a backlog. It'll get longer. It'll take probably like 14 years or something, like 13 years to get it done. So it's possible, but consult with an attorney in private. You get some good information on that. Susma asks, hello, I want to apply for a green card for my mother, but I'm not working. Can I still apply? Well, you can always start the process for a U.S. citizen to apply for a parent. Green card holders can't, has to be a U.S. citizen. You first have to file a petition. Excuse me, I'm yelling so much. The throat's feeling it. I'll calm down a little bit. Sorry. So you get excited talking about immigration. That's me. So you got to file Form I-130 to prove your relationship is real. And that process doesn't require financial sponsorship. And it's the next step when you file the affidavit of support, which is needed. Now, if your mom's in the United States, you do both steps together, both the petition and the affidavit of support, adjustment, all that. So yeah, you'll need to work or get a joint sponsor, someone else who can take financial responsibility. But if your mom's overseas, so I'm guessing she is, usually it's the case in these kind of cases, you file the I-130. It's going to take 6, 8, 10 months at least to get approved. And then, once that's approved, then you got to do financial sponsorship and stuff. By that point, you might be working. At that point, you might win the lottery, get a bunch of money anyways, or you'll work 8-10 months, try to find a joint sponsor who could financially support it, do that kind of stuff, and fix it up. But the sooner you start, the better of these kind of things. Just get it in the system. Form I-130 petition for alien relative. You read the instructions or hire a law firm, whichever one works for you, but get it started. That's probably the best thing to do. VCOS follows up. Thanks, John. I'm a STEM OPT. That's a person who has a work permit based on graduating a U.S. college and is working based on post-graduation ability to work that they give you. The STEM part means they have an extension because their major was in science, technology, engineering, or math. And then says it's expiring February 23. Should I expect my work permit before it? Any idea? Because I honestly, I don't remember what your previous question was. Let me take a look at the history. You should, but I can't give you expectations. We're dealing with the unreliable agency, so I can't tell you that. I do want to announce, so it probably, but probably it's not going to help you. So just be patient. By February 2023, if it isn't, that sucks. So that's a year from now. So it should. I do want to announce a raffle winner, Susma, who wanted to thinking about applying for your mom. You win. We get to do a free video consultation talking in more detail about your case. What I want you to do is take a screenshot of where you're watching this and email it to me at info@jqqlaw.com. Excuse me. I got to put on mute when I do this so you don't hear this coughing. But email me and we'll do a private consultation. I swear I won't be yelling and screaming like this. I think I'm just, it's the last thing I do is 6:30 p.m. today. I just got done exercising, got all this excitement. It's tearing my throat apart by yelling, trying to keep it quiet. So I try to calm it down, but it's exciting talking about stuff. The opportunity to come and bring your family together, it makes me happy. So just email me, Susma, and we'll with the screenshot so I know it's you, and we'll have a private consultation. And for those just tuning in, we give a free consultation. So what you got to do is you have one more chance in 8 minutes or so. My assistant is going to name somebody, like, subscribe, and write consultation in the description. I'll announce a winner and we'll get you a consultation. All right, let's see how more minutes. We've got 8 minutes. Can I make it the whole 8 minutes? What's the website again? For which website? Oh yeah, for marriage, it's marriageimmigrationlaw.com. Marriageimmigrationlaw.com. That's where you download the ultimate marriage green card guide. All right, next question. User 37 asks, I filed for my dad. I got approved from the National Visa Center. Waiting for the embassy about a year and a half. Yeah, that's the situation. The embassies will schedule an interview whenever they get around to it. Which country is the embassy interview in? User 373, let me know. But unfortunately, these things are just backed up that way, and they're very unreliable. I have cases waiting at an embassy for for a year, and then just today I got an interview 1 week after the case was another case was documentary qualified. So I'm happy that these clients got their interview, but the other people are waiting a year. Can we get them in first? So that's the thing. When people ask how long it takes, so they say, my friend got their interview, how come I haven't? Yeah, I have cases where one of my cases got the interview after a week. One of them was waiting a year. There's no reason. There's nothing fishy or funky about the case or suspicious. It's just the way the system is. No transparency. We have no idea why they do this, what their systems are, how come. It's just something that we see all the time. So it's a normal thing. I hate to say that it's normal. It's not a good thing. Hollywood says, is there expedited services available for I-130, I-485? You could always request an expedite for everything if you have a good reason. So it really depends on what your reason is that you're in such a rush to get your I-485 done. Because what difference will it make if your green card comes fast? Obviously, there are differences in your life, but what's so urgent that we can say you have to have it done immediately, other than being annoyed that it's taking so long? So you could always try. It depends on the case. I've done it successfully for their reasons where we needed to do it for specific things, but it's rare. It just depends on the case. Abhivanov says, I live in New Jersey and I applied for an I-131 reentry permit. Which service center would process the application? How long will it take the biometrics? So there's no answers to that. USCIS collects these things and distributes it to different services centers depending on how much caseload that specific service center has. So if they have a lot, they'll give it to one that doesn't. So there's no way to control that. And how long will it take to get biometrics? I have cases for reentry permit. Some take 2 months to get biometrics. Some take a year and a half to get biometrics. So somewhere in between there. That's why it's such a worthless number to provide, so you shouldn't think about it. Next question we have, Mohammed says, are you a lawyer for asylum cases? Well, no, my office does not do asylum cases, unfortunately, so I wouldn't be able to help you with that. Our good friend Harry Dory says, hi, John. I had a chance to catch your live show today. Thank you for all your help and offering expertise to those in need. God bless you, Harry. Thank you so much. I appreciate the kind word. Good to hear from you. It's been a while since we talked. But thanks, Harry. I appreciate it. Susma says, thank you so much. You're welcome. Salom says, how long does adjustment for DV Vary take? There's no how long in these kind of things. They do give a priority if you're filing for adjustment of status for a green card lottery, because the case has to be done before the end of the fiscal year, September 30th, before October 1st. I don't know. Yeah, September 30th. But how long it takes, there are times when they just don't get your case and you lose out. So there's no answer to how long it takes, unfortunately. It's just stuck, and that's what it is. We have a comment by Hala Paul. Says, greetings from immigration paralegal in Arizona. Well, good to meet you, Hala Paul. Hey, send me an email, info@jklaw.com. I'm collecting names of paralegals. I have an immigration magazine called the Immigration Lawyers Toolbox. It's for professionals in the field. I'm trying to collect it and showing, giving opportunity for paralegals to introduce themselves, have a listing of their names so lawyers can know where to hire paralegals when they need one. There's huge demand for immigration paralegals right now. Every day I see at least 2 or 3 postings requesting it. So that'd be a neat thing. Just email me at info@jqklaw.com. And the magazine is Immigration Lawyers Toolbox Magazine. I'm the publisher, president of it. I take a lot of joy sharing that information. It's for business practice, people doing immigration in the field, but you can always check it out. Some cool information there. All right, so we have only a few more minutes left in the show. I want to thank everyone for joining us. We have a question: how do we contact your office? Really, the only way I allow new potential clients to contact my office is to email. So email me at info@jqklaw.com. info@jqklaw.com. Jack, Queen, King, J as in Jack, Q as in Queen, K as in King, law.com. And briefly describe the immigration issue that you have, because as I was answering the previous gentleman who asked if I do asylum cases, I don't do asylum. So if you tell me, hey, I want to do a consultation about asylum, I just quickly tell you, you don't do that kind of stuff. But fill me, it might be something else that you need, and we can get you there. So thanks for asking. Where regular Jordan says, hey, John, I'm here, but no questions today. Well, I'm glad you're here, Jordan, 8350. Good to hear from you. One of our regulars. It's really neat. We have regular viewers every week that watch and get excited as much as I do about hearing about immigration, talk about immigration. I've been doing this for, 12 or 13 years now. Every day, nonstop, all I think about and talk about is U.S. immigration, and God bless. I really found a job that I could do without getting bored. It's one of those things. If I had $1 billion, what would I do? I'd still be talking about global migration, people moving up people, because it's such a vital part of humanity to be able to move, and share, the gene pool changes, safety comes. It's just a story of man, just like love and war is, and migration is part of it. And I'm playing an integral role in it between, helping consumers that need it, and as well as businesses and training and all that kind of stuff. And now we're shifting to global migration. At the beginning of the show, I talked about getting Turkish services open, and we're going to be moving and helping a lot of people across the world: Canada, UK, Italy, countries in South America, Asian countries. We need to get all over the world global migration, but one country at a time. So we have a couple more questions we're going to jump into. Shashi says, pending for a long time after RFE, please advise how to expedite. There's no timeline RFEs. If you need an expedite, you make a request and say why you need an expedite. Sometimes be careful. If you got an RFE and you try to expedite it, you might not get the response that you want. Abi follows up: if I travel back from abroad after 6 months before 12 months of issuance of the green card, what documents do I need to produce at time of entry? There's no documents you need to produce necessarily, just kind of like why you had to go so urgent. But if you have a green card, you shouldn't be outside for more than 6 months. It's not a wise idea. Sahana said, John, did you get my question above, please? Sahana, I don't know. Did I get your question? I don't remember seeing your name on any questions before. It might not happen. Why don't you just post your question again, and we'll see it from there. But no, I don't see any questions in our question list from you. Mark says FY, okay. Paranoid Android, another one of our regulars. Hello, counselor. You mentioned another video with Honor regarding signatures. Is the policy guideline on photocopies of wet signatures still in effect? Yes, it is. This is really important. USCIS, usually if you're sending a form into USCIS before COVID, you have to sign it with a pen, preferably a black ink pen. And if you didn't, they'll send it back. But once COVID's hit, because of all the distancing and stuff, they say, listen, what you can do is you can print it, sign it, and then send a photocopy of that in. It helps out a lot as immigration attorneys. So like right now, if I have a client in New York, Florida, Colorado, Texas, Iran, China, Japan, wherever, they just print it out where they are, sign it, and they take a photo of it, they send it to me, and I can send that in. They don't have to bother mailing a form to me, which is a godsend. It's wonderful. And that policy is still there. But one issue we have, people sometimes on their own submit it, they do a digital signature. They take like a paint, on the computer, they draw a signature, they send that in. That's not allowed. Digital signature is not allowed. But a wet signature and a photocopy of that, an image of that, a scan of that is okay. That's still a policy. I really hope they stick with that, because it makes life so much easier. What are signatures nowadays? My signature is just a scribble. Who knows if I did or not? But we'll see. But thanks for your question, Paranoid Android. And thanks for watching again. Holly Wild says, you're truly inspiring. That's so, God bless you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Puneet says, sir, my fiance filed for K1 in March 2021. It was sent up Atomic. Our case is with a meeting waiver, but decision is made. What do you think? It's going to take forever. I've filed cases that require a waiver of the meeting requirements. So if you're doing a fiance visa, you have to meet your spouse once, your fiance once in the last 2 years. If you don't, you request a waiver. And if they don't, if they approve that, approve. If they don't, it's a hard thing to get approved. Having said that, it could take an extra amount of time, and just the way it is. I'll take a couple more questions, but I do want to say our winner of our final raffle, free lottery, free consultation is Abhyav Siva Prakesh. Abhyav, take a screenshot of where you're watching this, email it to me at info@jqqlaw.com, and I'll send you information on how to schedule a free video consultation. We can talk about 15 minutes about your case. Usually goes over 15 minutes, but hey, we're here for you. So let me try to go quickly through some more questions and get it out. Abunur says, when's the immigration send form I-797 notice of action? I can travel with no problem because when I'm back, I don't know your case. The 797 just means a message from USCIS, so there's not enough information there for me to answer that. Shashi says, filing writ of mandamus would affect my case negatively. That's a larger discussion. It doesn't directly affect it, but it could force them to make a decision, which could be negative. So what you mean affect negatively, it's a large discussion what you mean by that. Paranoid Andrew says, thank you. That makes it easy for everyone. It definitely does. Thank you, Paranoid Andrew. Good to see you again. Hope to see you next week. Sahana says, daughter's a U.S. citizen. I've sponsored her. Daughter is a U.S. citizen. Have sponsored me, her mother. NBC came back for 3 months and emailed me, asked for a sponsor W-2. I've uploaded it. Will my application go all the way back in line? It's not in line. Your application is not even in line yet. Until they approve your documents at the National Visa Center, it's not in line. This is one of the reasons why it's really important to have a lawyer that knows what they're doing, because what happened here is, first you do Form I-130 to prove your relationship is real, you're really a mother. Once that's approved after 8-10 months, it sends it to the National Visa Center that does an initial review of your paperwork before the embassy get the file and eventually schedule a consultation time, interview time. Now, the embassy right now is super backed up. Once you send the documents to them, it takes them 3 or 4 months to review it. And if there's an error, they'll tell you, and then it could take another 3 or 4 months for them to review the fixed error. And if it's approved, it's approved. If not, then another 3 or 4 months. All of a sudden, you just put all this in line and longer, but there is no line yet. So until you become documentally qualified, you're not even in line. And so unfortunately, because you failed to put the sponsor's W-2 in there, you're still not even in line. You want that to get in, upload, approve. And once they approve it, they'll be in the line of cases at the U.S. Embassy for them to schedule time, which right now could be 2 weeks. It could be 2 years, unfortunately. But sorry, Vasana, but that's the reality. Lil CC says, if you got a no AOS, a no COS, and 1 month entry on most visa, what do you advise to do? I have a video on this, but the schedule a private consultation. It's too wild to talk about here. Sahana says, my question, please. I just answered this, Sahana. Prudy says, thanks, you're welcome. Evanor says, I'm under Honduras TPS. I applied for I-130 through my brother, who is a U.S. citizen. My mom just got her green card. Congrats. So we have to go on your case. Should I apply through my mom as well? Maybe. I have to see what's going on. It might not make a difference. It depends on timelines, your age, and all this kind of stuff. If you're married or not. This is too case specific. We need to talk to you in private. Hamza says, how much time take NBC for I-130? I had a lot of discussion about this today. There's no fixed timelines. It just really depends on the case, and there's just so much to discuss about that. Can't do anymore. We've gone over. And Sahana says, thank you. So thank you, everyone, for joining. We got a lively crew, a lot of good questions. God bless you all. See you next week, Wednesday, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, taking your questions live for general education purposes and giving away free video consultations. So check it out. I'm John Khosravi. Grace Journey. Like, subscribe, wherever you're watching this. If you like the show, leave a 5-star review. Go to Google, type in JQK Law. My business account will come. Leave a 5-star review. You don't have to write anything. Just for 5 stars. Really helps out the business. It keeps things going. Keeps the doors open. So God bless everybody. Be safe. See you all next week. Bye-bye.